Belizean Legends, and I'm Bilal Morris. We are in an in-depth discussion, with a roundtable discussion with legendary Belizean football players from the legendary Belizean football team. This team was called the Rockies, and the Rockies were a Belizean football team that was based in Los Angeles, and we are speaking with the members of that team, which are now legendary Belizean football players that are based in Los Angeles. We want to invite you, the Belizean viewers and listening audience, to tune into our show. Stay with us. Greetings, I'm Bilal Morris, and this is Belizean Legends. Welcome to this very dynamic, educational, informative roundtable discussion with the team Rookies. I hope I'm saying it right, and Orio can correct me. Which was a legendary Belizean football team. We say football, Americans say soccer, whichever one it is, right? But this was a legendary Belizean football team in the Los Angeles Belizean community that played ball in the 1980s. They won several football competitions. They went against some very dynamic teams from various parts of Central America as well as the United States. And we have with us a group of gentlemen. These are legendary Belizean football players that also played football in Belize itself. And we will hear from them. We will have them introduce themselves, and then we will go straight into our discussion. We will have this beautiful conversation. This is a conversation. And we want to share with you, the Belizean Legends audience, this very important documentary. And gentlemen, welcome to Belizean Legends. Welcome.
Yes.
We want to go right around and let you introduce yourselves. We will start with our brother here. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let's look into the camera and yeah.
Hello, my name is Javier. They call me Pissa. Everybody calls me Pissa. I'm an original Verde player.
Yes, Verde. And your full name, Pissa?
Francisco Javier Castellanos. That's my full
name. So
name.
people will know you.
Yeah.
When Belizeans see this, they will say, yes, I know Pissa, Verdes. And you come from the team that you played in was the 70s Belizean football
Yes,
Verdes, not the 90s, because there was a Verdes also in the 90s.
No, in the 70s, the original one.
The original ones. Let's talk about how your football career started in Belize. From the primary school days, or from there on to your senior years playing football with Verdes.
I started playing for Mount Carmel School, primary school.
Very popular football, very popular primary school in Cayo.
Yeah.
In banking.
At those times we had school competitions. We would go play to San Ignacio. We have all schools from all the towns, villages. I would play there. I played there one season. It was funny because I was in Standard 6 and I wasn't on the team. But the coach knew I was good, so he would take me to play without the school's permission. So I would go out there and play. I think I played about 10 games because I was not on the team. I won the MVP.
Wow, you were the striker.
From there I went to Belize Technical College. Never did play for this high school. The guy said I was too small.
Exactly.
They never gave me a chance.
Wow.
So at 17, I came back to Benke and I played for Verdes.
Wow. Technical didn't know that talent that they were overlooking.
No.
This man was the MVP of the Mount Carmel Primary School competition. You all won that competition too, right?
No, we didn't. But the guys who picked the MVP player, no matter which team.
Right.
Yeah.
So. And you know, primary school football is very important because I played primary school football also in Belize City, and it was the root, it was the basics, the fundamentals of where Belizean football soccer players developed their skills. Right? Talk about how you were able to develop those skills down there.
You know, I really don't even remember. I was like, I think it was natural to me.
Wow.
I never had like a coach. Nobody.
It was talent.
It was, yeah.
It was raw talent.
Exactly.
And you know, most Belizean young football players today, they're saying that they are raw talent. All you have to do is give them a feel on a ball, because it's like they are born with it. And you were one of those kinds of players that was born with that kind of talent. And you know, most of Belizean football players from that 70s era, which for me was the best years of Belizean football. Those like Gilidon and Muggers and all of them, they came from the 60s. And what's his name? Anton Canalete. Anton, what was his nickname again?
Mr. Ball.
Mr.
Ball.
Mr. Ball. No, Mr. Ball, not, but Antoine. LA.
Oh, LA.
Antoine. I think I know him.
What was his nickname again, man?
It fails me.
But I remember him like to boast that 60s ballers were the better.
Yeah.
The Queen's Park Rangers.
I remember.
The Avengers. Cador.
Yes.
I did a whole feature in Cador before he passed. And as far as you were talking, right? You were talking about that raw primary school football, because I could say that all of you here, right? As we go along, you would hear that primary school football was the root. That was where you develop your fundamentals. And there were a lot of people who they said they like the ball, but the baller like them, right? You were a natural. You just had the talent for that.
That was Mr. Ball.
You were born, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I remember they was telling me about a baller. That I forget they said, but it was like the ball. I was in Belize, and Perdomo was telling me that there was this player that he said that the ball was stick on his feet, because when he went to take him to Mexico, they were like, he was just awesome. I forget the name. But as we get your story, we're gonna go right down and we'll talk to the next man on the scene, the man from the south. Introduce yourself, Mr.
Michael Ferrera.
Michael Ferrera, and talking to the camera.
Yes,
Introduce yourself.
I started playing football in Alta Vista, in Stock Creek District. Played at primary school, at Holy Angels Primary School, and those competitions were great. And that's where I really learned to play football, because I learned from those guys over there. That guy over there especially, the legend. Yeah, he used to play for Methodist.
Legendary.
Yeah, he used to play for Methodist elementary school, and I used to play for Holy Angels. And every time we played them, I would admire this guy. I was like, man, this guy. But I knew him already, because I met him when I was a little kid. You know, he's a couple years older than I am, but it was fun watching him play football. And every time we played them at Holy Angels, we knew it was going to be a day where we get a good whipping. Because they had a great team.
You was Methodist.
Yeah, they were Methodist.
Yeah.
And they had a great team because they had a coach that really knew football. Our coach that we had couldn't even kick the ball. And so we literally learned to play football on our own. But as I went on to high school and I played for Ecumenical High School, that's where I really learned to play football and really learned the discipline of what football was all about. I had a coach named Wendell Marcello that changed my life when it comes to football. And what he taught us, the discipline about football and to be fit to play football, changed my entire life. And that when I came to the United States, I graduated from high school. I was 16. I graduated on Thursday, and Sunday I was in the United States. And I went to high school here, and I started playing football in high school here at Los Angeles High School in LA. And went on from there. I got a scholarship to play football at Cal State Los Angeles in LA. And I think that's where I met Russell for the first time.
Hey.
Yeah, he was playing for UCLA. I was playing for Cal State LA. I wasn't playing that night when they played us because I was injured, but I met him for the first time. I knew about him. I heard about this guy from Belize that was so great because my brother-in-law knows him very well. And he told me about him that I had to meet him if I was going to play football. And so eventually I reunited with my buddy over there, my childhood friend, Orin Orio. We reunited back in the early 80s in LA, and when he came to the United States, and at that time I was playing in a soccer club, and eventually I ended up owning the soccer club rookies and becoming a coach, a player, a manager, everything for the team. And that's where we all united, and the success is behind us over there. The years we played football as rookies.
Awesome. Look at that.
Representing Belize in a couple tournaments. And these were international tournaments where we had teams from England, from all over Europe. And so we put together a team of international players, not just Belizeans. We decided we wanted to be different. And so we had Russians on our team, we had Iranians, we had Trinidadian, we had a bunch of players from all over.
United Nations.
We had the United Nations as a team. And you would not know the difference, because all these guys who came to our club, Jamaicans and everything, they loved being on the rookies because of the unity that we had, it was like family. It was fascinating, and I guess that's the reason for our success.
Yes. And Mike, the same question to you, that where did you develop your fundamentals? I mean, primary school football, right? You mentioned Methodist, and you were Sacred Heart?
No, I was Holy Angels.
Holy Angels.
Come up in the valley, the Stanley Valley.
Yes.
And they were in the town. Methodist was in the town, and but they had a real coach. They had a football player.
Who was that?
He was from England.
Reverend
Fobbs.
Wow.
Reverend Fobbs.
International man.
Oh yeah. Wow. Reverend Fobbs was the
minister.
He was the minister, but he was also a football player. And he really taught those guys to play football. And we used to admire them. Even though we were playing against them, we would admire them. I mean, they don't know that we would admire him at that time. But I knew him outside of the school. So we would talk and whatnot. And so every time we get to see each other. But it was fun. But I really developed the fundamentals, the real skills of playing football when I was at Ecumenical High School under Wendell Marcello. That guy he is the man who was instrumental for me learning to play football.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you talk about, I've heard Orin Orio mention the man who used to prepare that field,
Yes.
Ramos. And Orin gave me a whole story in his interview that I did with Ramos, and I never realized what went into primary school football, in that why it was the basis,
It was a big
the
deal.
fundamental for these players like Ice that speak about where he came from and what took him to Verdes.
Yeah.
And for you, what took you from Belize to fundamentals that brought you out to the United States, that gave you that talent, the skills, to develop that. Talk about the Ramos, how Ramos prepared the field, because I want to hear your story. I remember I heard.
You called him Ramos, we called him Kiwi.
Yeah. And his full name again, he was what?
Carl Ramos.
Carl Ramos, because the stadium is named off him.
He was the broadcaster, he was the interviewer, he was the reporter, he was everything. He loved football.
He did it all.
He loved football. And when it was time for primary school football, that field would be perfectly aligned, the flags, everything in perfect positions. I mean, he took care of, it was his joy to watch young kids play football, okay? And he lived across the street from Methodist, and I think they were also Methodist, and so he lived across the street from the Methodist school. So they really cherished football, and he and the Reverend Fobbs were very good friends because they taught football. And it didn't matter what school you went, he would teach you the discipline of what a soccer field is supposed to be. Not to spit on the field, not to piss on the field, and all these different things. That's not the place to do it, and he would make sure that field was taken care of. I mean, I don't know what it's like now today in Belize, what they do, but I remember back then as a kid, he would instill in you the values of what that football field meant. Yeah.
That for me was very impressive.
Yeah.
When I heard that story from
It's
Orin
true.
Orio. Yeah, and to hear it from you again, Mike,
Yeah.
it is amazing. And those are the legends of Belizean football that we honor. People like Carl Ramos.
And it's very interesting.
Yeah, a lot of the youngsters today that are playing ball right there in Dangriga, they play on that field, but they don't know the history of the man.
I don't even think he actually played. He never played.
He never played, but he was just a football enthusiast.
He was a football enthusiast.
Yeah.
And the
loved the game.
love he had for football
And for young people.
and for young people to develop the skills to play football was beyond anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. And it didn't matter where you came from. If you came from the valley or if you came from the town.
Yeah,
Didn't matter.
He's
Yeah.
a good recruiter. He knows talent when he sees it.
Yeah.
And he was able to groom that talent very well.
Yeah.
We're
That's
gonna
what
move.
we need now. Some of those guys like him.
Yes, I agree.
Just to mention that stadium, Karang Stadium.
Wait, just a minute. Clive?
Go to the camera and take a break. Yeah.
Okay, all right, awesome. Again, we want to say before we move on to our next Belizean football legend, we want to say this is Belizean Legends. I am Bilal Morris, and we are having a roundtable discussion with Belizean legendary football players of the times. We're talking about ballers that played in the 70s, 80s. What I call Belizean football explosion. And welcome back. I'm Bilal Morris. This is Belizean Legends, and we are continuing with our roundtable discussion with Belizean legendary football players of the time. 1970s and 1980s Belizean footballers who came up playing this very, very, very dynamic sport in Belize. I say that Belizean football in the 70s and the 80s were the best for me. I never saw a lot of the 60s players, Brodies, teams like that, Queen's Park Rangers, Landiva, Avengers. But these were classic, historic Belizean football teams of the 60s. A lot of these players that we are talking to today knew a lot about the players from the 60s, like Roddy Leslie and the Mugger and all these other players, Maya from Avengers. We're talking about Martinez, the whole team in Corozal. San Joaquin, right? The Sugar Boys. What was the name? What was the
There's
name of
this
the
guy Carvalho that he's
Carvalho? But the one that Cristobal Main's brother. What was the name of that player? Malanga.
I saw him.
Those were players like those, right? Players like those were legends in the time. I've never seen players like Malanga and Orin talk about Martinez. Those were the two. Fred Martinez, the strikers. I never saw Maya play out here. And Leslie told me about Maya. He says if you ever want a story about a legendary football player, he said you need to interview Maya. And so with that, we want to go to our next brother right here. Introduce yourself, get to the camera, and talk about who you are, my brother.
Well, my name is Victor Ayalla Mendez. I'm originally from Mequillo, the family, like Pissa, and many more that played with a lot of rookies. I started playing when I was in primary school, and I always liked soccer, but football. I always grew up. I was one of those kids that always used to be around the older players, around him.
Yes.
And picking up their uniforms, ball boys. My mom used to look for me. Hey, what's up? And Victor's already catch a truck, ride with them. And I always used to be around those men. So I always used to like being around, playing football, kicking the ball. And
Learning from them.
yes, learning from them.
You were a good visual learner. You watch.
It's more that I used to go home after they used to play, and I used to try to analyze what happened. I used to look, and for some reason I was the goalkeeper of the team. For some reason, I never liked being a goalkeeper. I used to like to be a striker, but obviously maybe I wasn't good at it. That they put me, they dragged me into goalkeeping. And the story is that in primary school, Star 5 by Rafael Contreras.
Coach.
He used to coach the primary school in Benque, Mount Carmel. There was a game, national game, against some team from the primary school from San Creek. The goalkeeper got hurt, and since I wasn't that good at striker, they had me in the bench. So they said, who wants to be a goalkeeper? And I knew that my mom, being a football fanatic, she always used to have little games on the street where we used to live with the whole crowd, with the whole neighborhood. She used to put two rocks on each side. Cars were scarce those times, so we used to play every evening, play hard. And I remember I always used to end up like for, it was maybe supposed to happen. I always ended up playing goalkeeper, and I always used to win. So I said, what happened? It was raining, and they threw me in there to play goalkeeper, and we ended up winning, and I ended up stopping like 3 penalties.
Wow.
So next game, they said, okay, because they always call me Vicky. I said, Vicky, portero. I said, no. No. Striker. Portero. I said, okay.
You know,
there, I used to go goalkeeper.
But you had a natural talent for the goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I used to win, and I used to tell my mom, I don't want to be portero, I don't like that shit. Sometimes I used to like do mistakes to bring action, so I can do it, because I used to get bored and back there.
Yeah.
So the thing is that people don't know how being a goalkeeper, you get to enjoy the game more. You get to see who's good and who's messing with it, who needs to be changed. And after that,
You see the whole game.
high school, I roll into goalkeeper without knowing, you know. And then high school, then when I started playing I played two games in Benque Fiesta in 1986 for Hubei. And next Monday, I was shipped to USA, to Los Angeles. I came here, I was still 16 years old.
Wow, young.
I started playing with the Coyote, with them. And Oscar Castellanos, the coach, that already passed away, may rest in peace, was the one that introduced me to queso. Queso que play with us that day. I was still young. I said, well, maybe when I come to America, they won't know I'm a
You'll play forward.
I never call him forward, I call him striker. I wanted to be a striker.
You want to be a Messi.
I was supposed to be a striker. So I said, well, maybe they don't know I'm a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I came and I practiced. I was practicing goal striker. And all of a sudden, Vicky.
Go to the goal.
There we go again. From there, from being a goalkeeper, they brought me to rookies. He brought me in, introduced me to Mike. That was the time I saw Orio. And Orio was one of my big idols when I used to see him in San Creek. I used to like see this big, long, tall guy with all this talent, you know. And I used to like goalkeeper, but it wasn't for me. I didn't want to be goalkeeper. And he brought me in, and first thing I said was, how much are you going to pay me?
You're a pro now. Yeah.
Because my uncle, I come from a family of football, from Javier Mendez, my grandfather. Cesar Mendez, my uncle.
Cesar is your uncle.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine,
Yeah,
Cesar Mendez.
So we come from a
Yes,
family
Mendez.
of
Yeah.
football. We all come, we all believe in basically all the sports. And that's how I ended up being from there. And up to now, I still don't like it. And if I was able to walk again, I would not play for
Cesar Mendez, if you're watching this, my brother, here is your nephew, alright? Here is your nephew, and you always talking football. The man is talking about, man mentioned your name right here.
He was the one that told me, if you play, you better make them pay you. Don't play for free. So Murphy, one of our the manager, coach of the team, player too, like Mike, he used to work for graphics in Los Angeles. He was the one that told me, I can give you a job, but you have to play with us. I said, okay, so I started sweeping the parking lots, and then I started every day. I used to go play. Then after that play, people used to, for some reason, they used to like the way I used to mind the goal. And other teams started pulling me in.
Trying to recruit you.
Trying to recruit me.
Yeah.
And Oscar was like, no. So I still have my first uniform that I brought from Belize, because I used to like it. He had sponge here. I don't know why they had sponge over here, and sponge on the side. And I used to wear that. And I brought it here, I brought it to America, and I used to wear it. I was proud of it. It was my first uniform I had, and my uncle got for me. And I started working with them, and then when I came to play with them, I liked the way they used to practice. They were more serious. It was like, in the evenings, it was like hard practice, hard training. I thought they were going to put me in to play as a striker.
Yeah, they go again, right? Yeah, they go again.
But I said, how am I going to compete with Orio? I mean, this guy is a monster back there. And then I learned Queso's history about playing with them, or playing with UCLA, and I was like, what this Pissa was there. I was like, he was a very, very, very helpful person. Mad, used to get mad at me every time. I don't know, for no reason.
You get a Pissa, you hear the man says, hey.
But I learned a lot.
In line.
I learned a lot because I was so young, playing among gentlemen that knew soccer, knew football, and they used to like sit after practice and talk to me like, make it this and that.
Well, he was good.
And I used to listen. I used to discover, but I used to listen. I used to go home and try to figure things out. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you had a natural talent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
no
though
question.
you didn't want it.
You never won.
No question about it. And then you got a good coach.
Yeah.
A goalkeeper coach.
So you had the will for it.
Yes,
You know, you had the will. You were
came to
interested.
me,
Yeah.
and he said, put Dickie in the goal. And he told me, he said, put Dickie in the goal. And we started, Dickie was our starting goalkeeper.
That's when Orin used to play striker.
My heart, he had it. And I had it.
That is beautiful to say. That is beautiful
I
to
had my
say.
heart and I had his talent.
Awesome, Victor. Awesome.
And then one evening I told him, Orio, I beat you. I was still 17 years old at that picture.
Yes, and we want to say this is Belizean Legends. We can't get it no better than this. We love the story that our brother Victor has just given us. It's what a beautiful story, full of laughter. And we want to say we are in a round table discussion with some legendary Belizean footballers, legends of sports. We just heard from Victor, who played in the 80s. One of the younger players amongst these brothers who we have here in this round table.
The younger, not one of the younger.
The youngest.
The younger.
See right here. Cesar Mendez, you see senior Derrick right here.
Correction.
The youngest.
The youngest are still the youngest.
The youngest, sir. The youngest.
And
Great.
And good looking.
Yes.
Yeah. Victor brings a lot of humor to our roundtable discussion right here. And again, we want to say this is Belizean Legends. I am Delal Morris. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we will go to our next Belizean legendary football player. Stay with us.
Yes.
Again, this is Belizean Legends. I'm Delal Morris. We are back in this segment, this next segment of our roundtable discussion with these legendary Belizean football players from the 1970s, 80s. Belizean football explosion is what I call it here at Belizean Legends. We have spoken to 3 outstanding players so far, Ice, Mike, and Victor. They have given us the incredible stories of how it all started for them. The fundamentals of football itself, that you go to any country in the world where football is played at a very high level, like Belize had football at that time. The fundamentals start at the primary school level. It starts from there. We don't know why Belize have been losing its spark in football these days, like these 70s and 80s ballers that we are talking to right here. But somehow Belizean football has regressed rather than has progressed from the days of these ballers. We hope that there comes a time when Belizean football can come back to the days of what it used to be, which we will hear from our next person, the next guest, the man from Spurs, a legendary Belizean football player. My brother, introduce yourself to the camera. I mean, this man is no stranger to Belizean Legends. He has been interviewed on here on Belizean Legends in a dynamic feature. Go right ahead.
Hi, my name is Russell Cheesy Hulse, as they call me, or Queso. And to tell you my story, it started with St. Paul's Anglican School in Corozal. And, you know, one of the good things back then was, you know, we had a park right in the middle of the school, and every day that's where we played. You know, we just all we needed was a ball. And we got together and we played all day with no supervision. And, you know, you develop natural skills that you have, you know, the dribbling mostly, because, you know, it's just crazy. It was fun.
We should call it pop, right?
Pop, that's right. And my first, for my whole career, I've been fortunate that every segment of my development, I had a great coach. So after primary school, where there's no coach, you know, you just play, I went to Fletcher College, and my coach there was an Englishman, Reverend Mackey. And he, like Mike and Coco said, he was from England and loved football. And you know, that's where I really learned about the game. And one of the first things I learned was, you know, when I went to Fletcher, I just knew I was going to be on the starting 11. You know, I said, I'm going to play. And what we used to do is every Thursday we had a game. And in the morning, the Reverend Mackey would come and put the lineup and stick it on the wall. And I didn't see my name. And I was on the bench. So I said, what the hell? Yeah, so practice, I kept doing the same thing, and what we used to call pop, you know, like pop, pop, pop. I kept telling the guys, how come I'm not on the team and I can beat this guy who's taking my spot? So they told me, I said, Cheese, your problem is you pop too much. They said, you don't go no way. You know the pop and you know the move. And they just had to tell me that once. So of course, after that I started passing the ball and I made the team. Yeah. You know, you learn your lesson.
Yeah, you know, just passing, right?
Exactly, you learn. Yeah. So after Fletcher College, I was fortunate that La Victoria saw my talent, and they recruited me to play for the senior team. And you know, back then, you know, the biggest competition was in Belize City, so you were excited that every weekend we traveled to Belize City to play. You know, there was a tournament there. And we used to go by truck. And what's that place where we used to eat the beans? By Hunterside, I think. But yeah, there was this restaurant that you look forward to it because you go, they feed you, they give you a can of natural milk, which you look forward to.
Yeah.
And then you play the game. Yes, you play the game.
Sandwich.
And the most exciting thing was when you step on the garden, the MCC grounds. I mean, that was it. That was at my age, 16 years old, the highlight of my career back then was being able to play at the MCC grounds. And it was an experience. And, you know, being a small country, right, like Belize, we had to travel to Belize City by truck, go back to Crozal by truck, and unfortunately, a lot of times the truck would break down.
Sorry, it's raining.
Yes,
It's raining, yeah.
and you're there all night and it's cold. So one of our sponsors used to sell licorice.
Yeah.
So the guy used to bring a case of rum so we could stay warm.
So por qué?
I was too young.
Yeah.
But yeah, after I played with Victoria for a couple of years, you know, I had to move to Belize City to live with my dad because my mom migrated to the States. So I had one more year of college. So my mom said, okay, you guys are going to go live with your dad in Belize City. But Miss Reverend Maker didn't want me to leave. So he spoke to my mom and said, let your son stay. I want him to play one more year with the team. So my mom agreed. And what the Reverend Maker said, he could stay at my house. So when he left, I told my mom, I don't want to stay at the Reverend's house. All I could think about was, I'll have to go to some church.
Yeah, no, manners, Ross.
So
Heavy discipline.
yes. So they arranged for me to stay with two other families. You know, I ate at one and slept at the other one. I ate at Mrs. Salak's house, and then my friend George Brino, he was on the team too. I stayed at his house. That's where I slept. When I graduated and was ready to move to Belize City now, ASC, we played a friendly game with Victoria at the San Miguel Stadium. And the guys told her, hey, Chessy's going to Belize. He's looking for a team. So they said, oh, come play with us. So I said, sure. So the week before I went to Belize, Spurs came to play San Joaquin. And at the San Joaquin field. So, you know, where I knew was Spurs, and San Joaquin was a great team. So we went to watch the game, and I was amazed by Spurs. I mean, when you look at the roster, I don't think anyone was over 20. They were all young guys, and the way they played, I said to myself, that's the team I want to play for. So I went over and I asked the manager, his name was Teddy Gonzalez. I said, I'm moving to Belize City, can I practice with your team? He said, sure. And that's what I like, you know. And that's how it is in Belize. You know, everybody, there's an open invitation.
Yeah.
You can go and they will have you come and give you a chance. And that's all you need most of the time is a chance. So I went to Belize City and started practicing with Spurs. And as luck would have it, really lucky was the government of Belize had hired him to teach football to the whole country. And he needed a team to play on. And he chose Spurs. So again, I was blessed with a great coach. And when I went to Spurs, for La Victoria, I used to play right mid. So when I went to Spurs, that's the position I thought that I was going to play, which I did play a couple of games there. But Ray saw something in me and he said, Russ, I'm going to put you in defense. And my teammate there was Philip Gill. He was the guy that played the sweeper and I played in front of him. He said, I like how you play defense because you don't rush in. you wait and you have the patience to see what they're gonna do. He said, I like that, and that's what that position needed. So that's when I started playing stopper. That's what we call it then,
Yeah,
stopper.
stopper.
And the position, the system Ray taught us was the 4-2-4. And man, Spurs they had so many talents. I mean, I could name a lot of them, but the ones that come to mind is Andrew Hulse, Chessy. It's too many. I know I'm going to leave some out. Ramos. Then we had Mundo. But it was a great team. It was a great team. Like we've talked about, we've had conversation that one of the problems with Belize City is that, well, not Belize City, the whole country is that after a while, you play for so many years and there's nothing else. They don't offer you anything else. So what happened? A lot of great players migrated to US. And not for sport, just to try and advance in life. So I migrated to LA. I moved to San Diego where my mom was. And what I found out really fast was there was no Belize teams there. So I said, oh darn. So through my contacts, Cass, remember Cass? He used to play the police team. What was the nickname they called him?
Go ahead, I remember.
Yeah. But anyway, I got his number and he said, Russ, there's this team in Long Beach. Talis, yes. I said, okay, so my sister and her husband, Gene and Smith, they live in Long Beach. So I told my mom, that's it, I'm leaving, Mom, sorry. But I needed to play football. So I went to Long Beach and met up with Cass and played with this team. Yeah, there was another guy from Stein Creek that played there, I can't remember his name, but there were three of us from Belize. And they were mostly Englishmen. So anyway, you know, how we play in Belize, we curse a lot. So I'm on the team and I'm playing and I'm cursing like hell. And Cass Schroeder came to me, he said, Russ, you need to stop cursing. Yes, but it was fun. Then I heard about another team in Belize City, and I moved to, not Belize City, sorry, in Los Angeles. So I moved to LA and started playing with this team they call Sanka. And a lot of players from Belize that were great, but you know, they were getting older. But hey, it doesn't matter, you know, came together, we played, had a lot of fun. Eventually, we ended up with like 6 Belize teams in Los Angeles. And which was good because, you know, you get to see a lot of your players that you used to play with or played against in Belize City. So it was good competition. After a while, you know, I always wanted to try and be a better player. You know how many nights I don't remember the good plays that I made. I always remember the mistakes that I made. You know, you go to bed and that's all you think about. And try to not make that mistake again, you know. So I reached a point playing with the teams from Belize that I wasn't advancing. It was stagnant, you know, my playing level. So I have to give my friend Hogan credit for this. But we were scrimmaging.
Legendary Charles Hogan.
And the field was on 4th, right? 4th and Slauson. That's where we used to play. And we were scrimmaging and Charlie came from behind and he wiped me out. I was so upset. I mean, we almost got into it, but you know, I don't fight. So on my way home, I said, you know, that's it. That's it. I'm not playing anymore for the Belize teams. And not like a block away from my house, I saw this team playing. So I parked my car, stood on the sideline and watched them practice. Didn't know who they were. And very professional, everything was organized. So I'm on the sideline and then I asked one of the fans, because they had a fan base, I said, who's the coach? And he said, oh, that's him over there, his name is Azri. So I walked over to him and said, Azri, my name is Russell, and can I come and practice with you guys? He said, sure, come on out. So he told me the times and the days. So I went and I practiced with them. And he liked me, and we had training games, and he started playing. I went back to midfield again, and I'm practicing playing with this team, and I didn't know, like I said, didn't know who they were. Eventually, I found out that the name of the team was Maccabees. They mostly professionals from Israel, but they had players from all over. They have players from Europe, they have Argentinians, Brazilians, players from Peru, but the base of the team were professional players from Israel. And I also found out that they won, there's a competition in the US that they call the US Open Cup, and they had won it twice already. When I went there, they had just won the championship. And so I didn't know this. So anyway.
What's your age?
Huh?
Your age?
I think I was 23.
Wow.
23 years old.
You're pretty young, Russ.
Yes. So anyway, you know, like the thing with what I like is about Maccabi is that they are focused on one thing only: to win the US Open Cup. That's all that matters. And they have sponsors that, because it's very expensive, because you have to travel all over the US to play. When the competition starts, you have to go to different regions until you end up in the final. So they had a big backup from the Jewish community. So the first, our biggest competition at the time was a team from San Francisco. They had a lot of Nigerians in that team. Very good team, very strong. And it's either them or us that would go out of the Western region. So anyway, the first year I went with them, we lost. I think we didn't even come out of the region. But after that, the focus again was, well, we didn't make it, let's go back. And that's what I liked about them, you know, that they just wanted to win the Open Cup. I was fortunate enough with them that I was in 4 finals. We won 3 of them. The 4th one, I was injured, I couldn't play. You know, as far as a soccer player, I accomplished what a lot of players did. And the way I looked at it was, look, I was just fortunate that I was presented with an opportunity and I was ready to sacrifice to make it happen. Because look at me, I'm not just a football player from Belize, you know, and like any other Belizean, you had a lot of players that if they were presented with that opportunity could have accomplished the same thing I did. So I don't look at it as anything special. I look at it as I was ready to make this sacrifice and anybody else could have done it from Belize because we have the talent there. You know, but you just need the opportunity.
Exactly.
You know, so I played for Maccabees for several years, and then I got to meet Mr. Orin when he came up. And it so happens that the goalkeeper we had, his mom was sick and he had to leave. They were looking for a goalkeeper, and I called Orin. I said, Orin, you want to come try because I think you can play for this team. So we went to the practice. The coach loved him. They wanted to sign him up right away. At the same time, we had a young player who's, may he rest in peace, Derrick Mossiah. He was one of our stars with rookies. And he was, I think, 18 at the time. Yeah. And I introduced him to Maccabees and they loved him. And, you know, the same like any other professional team, there came the time to name who was going to make the squad. And I was disappointed in the fact that Derrick didn't make the squad because he had the talent. And I was upset with the coach. And I went to him and I said, Andrew, I said, how come you didn't pick Derrick? He said, Russell, it's a matter of helping a countryman who is having a tough time in his life right now. He came over here, he was robbed, he lost thousands in jewelry because he was a jeweler, and he needs to make money, so we're giving him a spot in the team so he can get paid to help his family. And that was the reason. It had nothing to do with Derrick didn't have the talent. They were trying to help someone out that was having a rough time. So a couple more practices, Orin came to me and he said, Cheese, he said, it's time for us to go and start teaching our Belize players. And I had played a couple games with Mike's team at the time. And at that time I knew that the only team I wanted to play for was Mike, because back then you had Neutrons, you had Homes, you had Warriors, yeah, right? He said it wasn't in the pictures yet. And I said, okay, let's go to Mike. And we went to Mike, and at the same time we joined with Oscar's team, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, and so we had, what I like about it is the style of ball that they played, because the football that I like is where you pass the ball. You know, it's not long balls, it's not physical, it's passing the ball and using your brain. So that was the type of ball that these guys played with, so it fit right into our plans. And boy, did we make history. I mean, our team was so good. I'm not bragging, but through the years, we played all of the Belize teams at some point or another, and none of them beat us. And it's not bragging, but what I instilled in the team was discipline, and you had to work hard. You didn't, no breaks.
You were the player coach.
Yes, player coach, and I had help from Mike and from Oscar. Yeah, because Oscar, you know, and what I liked about the rookies was we didn't have to worry about any of the administrative problems. Mike took care of them. Right? I was able to just go on the field and play because I had Oscar on the sideline helping, you know. So halftime we would get together, me, Oscar, and Mike, and then we would discuss, okay, where's the weakness? Where do we need to make the changes? So it made my life easier. I didn't have to worry about it when I was
His team had structure.
Yes.
Had structure. Mike managing, you play coaching.
Yeah, we had a good run. We had a great run. And you know, not that the other teams were not talented, but I think the advantage we have, I don't think any team worked as hard as we did. You know, we put in the work. And if you were not serious, you couldn't play with us.
Oh, that's right.
And like Mike said, you know, we had Tony Douglas, who played for a while for the LA Aztecs. We had players from Trinidad. He's from Trinidad. We had some other players. We had players from Nigeria. Lucky. We had a player from Russia. We call him Gorby. You know, we had a player from Haiti. You know, we invite anybody, and it's from what I learned. When I was young and I wanted an opportunity, they gave it to me. So I did the same thing. If a player came and they wanted to play with us, I gave the opportunity.
Because you understood opportunity was where the problem was.
Me and Tony, we played together at Maccabee, so I knew him and I called him over and he came and boy, we had fun.
Russell, you're missing out a very key part and he's so humble about it. You could have been playing World Cup football.
Well, I had an opportunity because we scrimmaged way back. We scrimmaged the US team, Maccabees. They came and asked us for a scrimmage. And one of our sponsors, he was the treasurer, and he came to me and said, Russell, why don't you go try out for the US team? At the time, I didn't have my documents, and I said no, because I didn't want to open any kind of work. Right? I said, let me stay in my lane and stay. So I didn't try out. But one of the great opportunities I got from Maccabee was, because I was playing with them, I was able to get a scholarship to play at UCLA. Now,
like Mike did.
No, when I finished, there was two professional teams in LA at the time, LA Essex and the LA Sunshine. Now the LA Sunshine, the coach came to me and said, LA Sunshine wants you to go play for them. But I was still playing for Maccabees, and we had scrimmaged the LA Sunshine, we beat them. So I was not interested.
Yeah, exactly, you don't understand, like a demotion.
Yeah.
Going down. Awesome, and we want to say this is Belizean Legends. I am Bilal Morris. We are in a roundtable discussion Wow, we are in a roundtable discussion with legendary Belizean football players. We just heard from the legendary Russell Chessy Hulse, a Spurs Belizean player. Now, like Pissa and just like Victor, Russell comes out of fundamentals of Belizean football, and we see the vast history, sports history that is on this Belizean football legends resume. Incredible. That the one that is most impressive to me is that the thing that many Belizeans are saying, some Belizean sports enthusiasts, that Belize don't have no World Cup material. I'm like, brothers, where did we get that from? Belize never have no World Cup players, Pissa. Like,
That's not true.
that's not true.
No.
The names of the legends we talk about. Now, here is one.
Exactly.
Here is one, and we'll hear from another when we come back. That Belize had World Cup football material in someone like the legendary Russell Chessy Hulse. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll go to our last and final Belizean football legends. Stay with us.
Best for last.
This is Belizean Legends. I'm Bilal Morris. We are back. Roundtable discussion. We're having the conversation after the conversation. I mean, there was so much energy and enthusiasm. We just gracing Belizean football history off the record as we speak, and we want to say to you, the Belizean Legends audience, that we are in a roundtable discussion with legendary Belizean football players of the 70s and 80s. We heard from Pissa, we heard from Mike, we heard from Victor, and then we heard from the legendary Chessy, Russell Hulse. And now we will have the man of the hour. I mean, he, another person. You Belizean football enthusiasts and Belizean legendary football players who are watching this will know this player. He needs no introduction because he stands as a giant between the sticks, as we used to call it at the garden. He stands between the sticks. And the man here is that we want to introduce him, my brother. He came from the south. Introduce yourself.
Orin, Coco, Orio. From Sand Creek. That is now called Damriga. I started in primary school, Methodist primary school, with a coach like Reverend Forbes. And a couple of other players, like the famous No Miami was a goalkeeper.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes.
We had another guy by the name of Thomas Loriano. Right, that's not a singer.
So Miami was a
Yeah, he was
a
goalkeeper. He was
wow, Belizeans, yeah.
Right. And we also have, like I said, Thomas Loriano.
Yes.
Right.
He was
No.
also a singer.
Yeah, he's a singer too.
Yes, Javier.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But the rock singer. So those are the places I start from. I played from Methodist. I played against guys like Garincha, from Palacio. Right. Those were my competition. And even up the primary school games, we used to play together. I look at it where that was a fun time for me, fun time for us. We had discipline. Like I say, we had to be careful when it comes to playing our games. And the primary school games were twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And one of my, I'm going to enjoy it now, right? Back then we had a guy by the name of, like I mentioned, T.B. Ramos. Not T.B. Ramos' son, Carl Ramos. He used to have blackboard. That guy had a beautiful, better penmanship on the blackboard than any one of the teachers that I had. Flash, flash, flash on the top of it, right? Primary school competition on this Thursday, they gave the name. And I used to have so much crowd out there compared to now for primary school, where we had the field was, we didn't have a stadium. We had a field. We had sometimes a rope
Yeah.
to walk around. And all that work was done, they cut it up the field, they put it up the net, right? All these things were done by Kiwi, better known as Carl Ramos.
But you used to call him Kiwi.
Yeah, Kiwi. No, but a lot of people didn't know he could talk, right?
Quite guy.
Yeah, no, not quite, but then we speaking a lot.
That's why.
Yeah,
Word language.
Yeah,
word language. So that was one of my enjoyment going to school, right? When I started playing with the senior team, it was D-line.
Whoa.
No, going to school.
Striker.
Going to school.
D-line.
I had no choice. I had to go to church.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday morning, Methodist. Coming in the evening, we had Sunday school. I used to dread going to Sunday school because, hey, are we still going to play highlights? Right? Or are we still going to play volley halves? Right? And I used to skip Sunday school.
I get lashing
And I
on
go to the
the
game,
Bang
but then
people on
I
Sunday
had to
school.
be careful when I go to this game because my uncle might be there. He's supposed to know, that I'm supposed to be in Sunday school. Right? I used to watch guys like D-line. I used to watch guys like they had a goalkeeper.
Pele Ellis.
No, Pele Ellis used to play at the time with highlights. Then you had guys like Alvarez, right?
He's up to Brooklyn too, right?
Yeah, to book, yeah, he was playing on RAC, right? We had Peter Alvarez, good goalkeeper, always in black,
Yeah.
right? And those are the time that I used to go there and watch these guys. I used to look at Peter as man, very good goalkeeper. I had no idea I was going to be there. Who actually get me into the goal, into being a goalkeeper was the same D-line. Because at the time they had champion and champions. And down there we just beat Orin. Russell Pennell was their goalkeeper. So he left the game, come to the States. So Dylan was trying to teach me how to be a goalkeeper. But it wasn't hard for him because when these guys used to play football, I used to go to the back of the practice, I used to go to the back behind the goal post. And every ball that goes over, I used to run from it. Some ball comes straight to me, and that's where I learned from, right? Then I used to also play, at the time I used to also play basketball. I played table tennis and all that.
You're a multi-talented athlete, or
That helped me to,
Yes.
and I learned to hand coordination and all that.
But you could play forward, so.
What's that? In primary school, I was a striker. In primary school, I was the biggest position.
Position.
I was a striker, right?
They just never let me explore my
Yeah, right.
For the fact I never score a goal.
I was a striker, and we had, like I said, we had my main goal. So the thing is, what we had at the time at Reverend Falls as the coach of the Belizean team was discipline. You respected each other, right? So that's where we started from, and I had guys to play against like Garage, like I said, Walker and whatnot. So moving forward, playing on the selection, right? I don't know how I end up in the goal as I say, right? But that's where I was. And then the next guy that used to help us after private school was James Zagari, right? He used to play, he was living in Belize City, and he used to come to Riga at the time, and he used to play a little game and match and whatnot. The first time I leave from Riga, I went to White Label. He was the one that took me to White Label. Played with Maurice Jones at the time and these guys. For me it was fun. For me, I look forward to it. Right? To say playing all this time in Belize City from my perspective was the best set of fun that I ever had. Right? It never, even though a lot of these fans did not ride in my team, but they ran with me for some reason, right? And I enjoy that. Now I can sit back and I can toot my horn, I would say, right? Back then I didn't do that, now, because looking back, how fortunate I was to do that. And then from there I left and I played the team with Steve Gale, Christopher Mayen, right? Berta 404 at the time. Then they became white label. Not white label, they became Berta was the oldest team. After they became Berta, they used to be Billy Kid, right? And for the same team but just a different name, right? How I end up playing with that team, I asked a question afterwards because they had a goalkeeper call, right? I had Ferrera, right? They had Ricky Gangara. So I asked, how come they just left from Circuit? Just came as a starter. Many years after, I asked the question. I asked the question to Fabian. He said, Cock. He said, Guy-man. He said, Cock. He said, Cock, we just wanted you. He said, we sit there, we had a meeting with Tobal, and this was what they were told. So the question was, anybody having any objection? Well, nobody had any objection. And after those meetings, nobody said anything. So I enjoy myself playing there. I enjoy playing football in Belize. And leaving from Belize in about, what I did in 84, when I came over here, I met Mike. He had a team. And for the team that he had, they were playing for fun. And I don't like fun, I don't like to lose. So I told Mike, what's wrong with this? This guy said, oh, wait, what do you here? We're just be judged. I said, no, losing is not fun. I don't get up early in the morning to go to lose. It's not fun. Right? And I was mad. Right? So then after I spoke to Mike and whatnot, TJ came along and hey, right?
Transform.
Yeah, the whole team. Some of these guys just fell along the wayside. We had a guy named Martin, a Jamaican. We had the only team we played with for some reason, right? So I look at it to where did we make progress as rookies? Yes, and the evidence is behind me. All those trophies that we
Until
had.
I came and made them champion.
Yeah.
The evidence is behind you,
Yeah.
right?
Until I
Right
came,
there. Rookies.
until I came and made them champion.
Yeah.
I think you came, right? You made them champions. Yeah,
They were struggling until I came and
struggling until you came.
This is some of my best time that I have was playing in the district. Right. Orin I don't want to say it. Orin had 2 opportunities. We reached finals twice. One was Mr. Quick in the district, right? And they were beaten by Dick Gila and his team. Then we met them at 66, 67, and they got beat again. So I don't want to break it or feel bad about it.
Talk about your All-Star Belize, because I was in Belize last year, August, and I had the opportunity through you again and Russ and Mike, who helped me to get there to interview Sarge.
Well,
Talk about that whole Stan Creek All-Star.
That's the quick team that we've had.
Yeah. You remember Sarge, right?
The team is
I met his brother, he's very good. Yeah.
Is that we were disciplined on the other hand. We had 3 people that used to run this team. It was Buck and Ranger. We had 2, but we had respect for those guys. In other words, there was three different sets of guys on the team. Myself, Buck and Ranger. You had Turo, you had Timo, you had Rabo, you had Tom, right? Those were set guys that you know, one group.
I was an outstanding football, Belizean football team.
Yes, but when it comes to game, when they to say something, I remember one time we went to Kai against Avengers. Richard came to me and said, I'm not gonna play the first half. I said, why? He said, Orio. He said, no more than one goal can score only for the first half. I said, you sure? He said, yeah. He said, then when I come on in the second half, he said there'll be pressure. So he said, so done. The first half, 1-0. Right? Second half, Richard came on. We scored 1-1. In the last part of the game, up to a spot kick. Towards Richard going up in the air, Koleba pushing him in the back and the ball is going up. So that's the ref will call penalty. Well, there was no ifs and buts about that. We had a thing that only the goalkeeper takes the penalty on our team. Only the goalkeeper.
Striker.
Only striker. And we had that team, we went to 1. And the other game I remember was Orin again. Greg played, I'm sorry Greg, Dean Lewis. He scored 2 goals the same way. Dean Lewis used to practice that every evening at 5, 6, so then 5, 6, 7 times during scrimmage. But when you just kick from, practice like that, you used to take 50 shots like that. If the ball doesn't go off, it's barely, if I don't tip it off, it's goal or, So when he did that on MC Instagram, that was not strange to me. It was, I think it was Cabaret and they go at the time. Right. Greg, I'm sorry, Greg.
But you hear the man right there, Greg. Like from Orio,
we had a terrific team. We had a good team. We had a very good team at the time, and I look at it where right now we don't have it.
You have that kind of competition where you, Greg Jones, talk about when Orio our star selection went to Belize City and beat Belize City, right by Mike, Vic, and Ross and Orin, where Belize City had a kind of behavior where if a team come from Cayo or Ridgewa Perazal and beat them, Greg Jones said that when time to go back to Perazal, they bump out the bus because they do not want to get beat. Belize City teams are looked at as the best football teams, right? I've had people like Cador who boast and then Brady Leslie, no. Peach Park Rangers, and then you had Gilly-Dunn and all of them that say, Belize City were better than all the other teams in the country. So you always had this record. Look at Spurs, you played at Spurs, right? But you were from Curacao, right? You would have played at the Curacao. Belize City had this attitude, and Orin, you could talk about it when you go there.
When I went to Belize City,
I wonder have Belize All-Star selection ever beat the Belize City?
Well, it's Belize City All-Star. When they do something, I was lucky that if there was an All-Star pick for Belize City, I was picked.
You were picked, and that's why I wanted to say that Orin Orio, he never had that problem.
I never had that problem
because he was seen as this outstanding player. Maybe Russell, you could say the same thing.
Well, the thing is that Belize City just had more talent because of the population.
The population.
We had a lot of good teams there.
Right.
But then, I always used to say this, that in my opinion, of course, that in Belize, the players are better on one-on-one, and I think that's because where they practice, they don't have a lot of space. So you have to dribble in a small space. Now, out district, you have the whole field is just for one space. So then you can practice a more organized game. More tactics. So I think that's it.
That's the way it is. Because I always want to have some kind of understanding to that. Because you see, ballers from the 60s, and I've seen they don't know, Cador, we were better than all the rest, but that is within a certain, that's relative to what? As Russell, like you are saying. We're ready to go back to you. right? You Belize City team, why are you go for the South?
You see the thing with that, why we had football was better. I'm not saying going to say different, I'm going to say better back then than now. Is because Belize City never used to be in the district. They were a district, but they had their own competition. Right? Inter-district was going to include everybody else, excluding Belize City.
Belize district, yeah.
Yeah, Belize district, right? So Belize district at the time, at the MCC grounds had games started from 10 in the morning.
There were more football teams,
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah, yes.
In Belize district.
In the Belize district.
Yeah.
And they had from 10 in the morning. And Belize City players were more, when I say for lack of a better word, rugged. They don't joke. One guy that I wasn't afraid of, right, but I had respect for was Maurice Jones. In the air, on the ground.
Greetings to the man Maurice Jones, legendary Belizean football player.
Yeah, Maurice Jones was deadly, right? Ricky Gambera was also deadly, right? We had a guy by the name of Mandingo Barnett that I used to play on the same team. I used to play with White Label, right, and also with Belly King.
Those guys had
Right.
candidates.
Oh man. But the thing with those guys, I wasn't afraid of those guys with the cannon. I had Dino and I had Rabo.
Okay, they don't have
So,
next
they had
Sarge.
cannon. Yeah. See, so I'm used to that.
Yes.
See, so like I said, I was just fortunate enough.
And you could go to many
Yeah,
districts,
many
right? Right, like you Cayo,
Yeah.
Corazon, you had all of the whole serious shooters.
Man.
Serious cannon, right?
Look, the good football is not power, it's placement.
Yeah. Put it into perspective.
Yeah, because you look at Maya, he's not gonna kick a ball like Bullet Bob.
Right.
Well, Maya, you can't give him space. I did that once and I paid the price.
You played against the baller.
I played against
Wow, it
him.
was a house play against Maya.
Yeah, Avengers. And that's, you know, I was 16, 17 years old and I'm playing against Maya. And you know, you're naive, right? And so it was a one-on-one. And I anticipated the move that Maya was going to make. So he didn't move. I stepped in to take the ball, and he pulled me back. The ref didn't see it, and he scored. So, you know, it's a learning experience.
So when you did that, what did you look at that baller when he pulled you back? Was he a bad player?
No, he was smart. He was
Part of
smart.
the game, right?
Yeah, part of the game.
One of the things is,
I remember playing for Rookie.
don't let them hold the ball.
Yeah.
Once he got the ball, it was hard. I used to watch him, but I used to like that guy.
Yes, and Fred
Once he
played
got
against
the
him
ball,
twice?
no, I was so
Yeah.
And Fred Martinez again.
Fred Martinez.
Left, right. He was to me, he was a total footballer because he kick with the left, kick with the right, header. Yeah, he was. And players like that can go left or go right is the hardest player to defend. Like Pice, oh my, this guy, he's an awesome dribbler. It's hard to defend.
1 feet, no Pice.
Yeah, that's the hardest
It
player.
was hard to take the ball away from his
Yeah.
I was telling you to have you had 2 foot.
Yeah.
You see the same thing that Castle said, that he was 67 years old playing with these big ballers in the league. Same thing happened to me. Imagine 17 years old, brought to Los Angeles, and all of a sudden, all of them were my idols. I used to watch them play in the leagues, and I used to love them. So now all of a sudden they tell me, Vicky, you're gonna play with rookies. Now I come there and I see Orio, see Queso.
And we had Javier Mendez, another great goalkeeper from
And then they
the
tell
country.
me, I'm the third goalkeeper. Oscar told me, I'll bring you Vicky, it's competition. I said, who? He said, Orio. Fuck.
We let it turn out. Now keep it rolling.
They tell me, Bobby Mendez. I said, oh my God.
Right?
So I come there, and I'm like, oh man, so what? I sit there and they introduce me to the team right there at the
Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson, yeah.
So I said, okay, first they throw in Orio to stop the ball, the kicks, then they throw in ball, then last I'm skinny, young, impressed about this guy that I admire them.
Yes.
They start taking advantage of my.
But the reason we hear about goalkeepers, come back to the goalkeepers, Palmer Davis, the rope, you. And you could talk about legendary Vic right here, right? Because Victor, you're one of them, brother. You played.
Canalete.
Yeah, Canalete Anderson. But I heard a story about Moga. And the guy Mossiah was the man. I did not know I was writing my research. They said that Aaron Hyde wrote in his book Sportsing and Subversion that Moga is coming down in the 18th, right? The 18th they call it, right?
Yeah.
He's coming down.
Yeah.
And he's coming to strike, right? And he said that a guy was sitting next to him. He said before he went to college at Dartmouth, he was watching this game. And the guy said, Moga no got no left foot. Right? But you could talk about 2-foot shooter, right? I really said that. When the guy said that, as soon as the guy said that, Moga spoke the keeper and shot. But they said that the keeper stopped the ball.
Yeah.
But the keeper thought that was over. They said the linesman didn't even see. Moga got up there, knocked the keeper out, and hit the ball in the goal.
Yeah.
And so I'm writing this story from what I was told that the guy Mossiah said that was me.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
He said I got 12 stitches across my head. Well, but really they couldn't do that to you.
Me and Maurice Jones had a thing like that one time.
They broke you in Baker, remember? Baker, they broke you.
Me and Maurice had a thing on time. Well, I know how Maurice go, right? So, the ball is, but I know Maurice, I know someone stinking player, but he play hard.
Yeah, aggressive.
Yeah, Maurice only joke. So, 50-50 ball, I come out of the goal, right? Because I know Maurice coming. So I said to myself, hey, I'm in there today. Right? I will meet outside. I think I'm in the 18, the right outside the 18. Right?
Pause.
Yeah, Maurice
18.
out of the 18, right outside the 18. He ain't gone up and I gone up. Maurice went over, Maurice stayed down.
Yeah.
Right? So Maurice has said afterwards. So we're happy at this time when I meet afterwards, so Orio. 2 weeks you have to go at the beach. Like I said, Maurice, I'm not going to dirty you, but I'm going to play because I'm not suffer and that.
When I coach and I learned this, I'm not going to be. I always tell my goalkeepers, when you go for the ball, knees up, protect yourself.
Wow,
that's right.
So you were always in defense, so you stop these kind of strikers like that.
Yeah, but I tell you, goalie, you have to protect yourself, make him get hurt, put the knee in his chest.
Yeah.
He not come back.
Yeah, correct.
I used to play the Ethiopian. Used to have a tournament every year. I ended up playing on Ethiopian team from LA.
Every year, maybe I just inject this. Every Saturday at Dorsey, we used to have a tournament. And the tournament was 1 goal off next team up.
Yeah.
Right? And the Ethiopians used to be part of that. And when we were out there, we were on the field all day, okay? And we meet these Ethiopians and they got to like him. So every time they had a tournament,
Yeah.
it was good thing.
So, one time we played in Texas. The guy said, they had to come to the point of we had to, but no, this was in Atlanta. We had to win. If we win this is the game that we're going to play, we're going to move on to the next one. We advance. So, we ended up to win. So we had 1 more game to play before we reached the finals. So we ended up winning that too. So the last game, we went to penalties. So I looked at the coach and said something. No way 5 penalties are scored for me, no matter what. 5 not the score. I said, okay. So I said,
And that is the goalkeeper.
so I said, well, guess what? And I'll take the first penalty. They look for me. What? You'll take the first? Yeah. Not necessarily kick before. Right? Just goalkeeper for them. You take the first penalty with a score. They come, their team come and score. Following the team come. I stop it. Right? My team now score. We're not going to stop 2 penalties. Right? So they call stop me up, they pick me up, they lift me up, whatnot. I still have a picture of that team. So even when I play up to now, when I meet you, but anytime they meet me, they're always, they still treat me with respect.
Well, tell them the part of the brother they admire the most.
I could imagine a what?
Only time comes.
Share the joke with us, man. Share the joke with us.
The oppressed, they always say, Coco, they have never seen a goalie with a backyard like that.
He just puts it together. The legendary Orio Coco. Okay? You heard what the legends Russell House is saying. He got a name from the Ethiopians.
Even at Belize City, I used to some young ladies used to say the same thing.
Instead of you that admire young ladies, the young ladies that admire you.
You see this?
Right?
The most handsome one?
Back in Belize City, though. The father in Belize City, when they're offended, they're fun.
Yes.
Fan base.
Fan base.
Yeah, the fan base, yeah.
Right after my games, after I'm in the past, Megan is a celebrator, I mean, then I have to pay. We used to have panades, after Mondays and whatnot, I used to stay over. And he used to make sure I get my panades, right? I don't have to pay. And that's the next thing we have. On another side, I think this is the reason why I think we're supposed to give these people who sponsor these teams a lot of respect. Yes. Right? Perdomo used to sponsor the team. Travelers, right? We used to have Billy Martinez, Belly Kid, right? We had Birdies. But my question is, and what I need to know, I asked myself, how you guys used to do it? Right? He said, oh, sometimes it used to be like my tax deduction. He said, that's why I would like when we
You got a manager, a sponsor amongst the rookies right here, Mike.
Yeah,
how did you do it, Mike?
Yeah.
I mean, where did the money come from, Mike?
I know how we do it. I don't get that trouble many times.
Sharp and all these people.
Yeah, all these people are these people need to get recognition.
Your wife don't know yet.
I mean, not do that.
What?
Your wife don't know you, so like.
Oh, she eventually got to find out.
Yeah.
I sponsored the
He
team.
was a great manager.
So, like I said, all these people, all these managers that we had in Belize, we don't get that recognition.
Yes, Teddy Gonzalez for
Teddy
one.
Gonzalez.
Yeah, Spurs, man.
Yes, man. Yes.
And I think we must have to have that's why the FFB, right, that's not okay. They're not only the football, the soccer.
Teddy Gonzalez was Spurs, right?
Yeah. I think they're supposed to have an award for these people.
Yes, indeed.
You had the Sharks, you had Zabanis, come on, you have to give these guys some kind of recognition. So that's part of the reason I think today we don't have much of these guys.
We don't have teams like that today.
Yeah.
No,
When you have the Spurs, the Land Beavers, the Burgers, the White Label.
don't have it.
No, it's completely different. It's like
Mr. Harry, asked me to play Black People.
No, a special group
Yeah.
come from a different era.
Yeah, it's a different era now. I remember back in the days, the citrus company used to hire these guys.
yeah.
Yes.
And I would have loved Glen Hulse to be here because I met his son when his son was playing on the Belize national football team. Russell, and I said, here am I in the studio at Crim, which is next TV, and I watched this young man, and the whole national team is in there with their coach. Who was the coach at the time? Was it Bill Chess or Argentinian or?
Bill Chess.
Yeah, but he was sitting, and as I look at him, I said, he must be Glen Hulse's son. But he said, yes, man. I was talking to him after the record, and he was,
But the problem with Belize, the problem I find with Belize, I'm look at it the way how it is. Belizeans have this idea that they have better players in Belize. Right?
Yes.
If that's what you have it. Right? But do we have it? No, we don't.
But do we have it in the diaspora? We have to recruit. We
They
do it
don't
with
follow
basketball.
No, I'm not talking.
Once we leave Belize, they don't follow.
They
Don't follow anymore.
See,
Yeah.
And there has to be a recruitment in
They don't follow
football.
our
I know.
kids.
Exactly.
Like when Jesus nephew went there. Right? Yeah, those guys was that his son as far as I'm concerned. But did he ever play a game? No. Why not? Right? He played on better teams.
Your nephew, right?
Your nephew, yeah.
Yeah.
Not your son, but your nephew.
Yeah, my nephew. The thing is that, and I don't know if it has anything to do with their budget, but you know how much talent you have out here? Man,
Oh, lots.
a lot of talent
A lot.
for the men and the women, especially the women, because a lot of our girls are playing college soccer over here,
Yes.
but they never get the opportunity, I think, to go home and play
To represent.
to represent the
Yeah.
kids. Yeah.
Very few we see the recruitment. I've interviewed Belizean American football athletes that have gone and did Belize in track. And they have dominated. They won the MVP and gave Belize. We have the cycling, the Williams brothers, Justin and Corey Williams.
Right.
Justin won the 2015 and the 2018. But yet we have this attitude. Oh, they don't know Belizean. When the constitution of the country said any child born of Belizean parents is a Belizean. So Kali is telling me, my son got this trophy, but they don't want to give him this monetary prize because you don't know Belizean. We have to stop that. We have to break down those barriers, you know,
Yeah,
absolutely.
because, and Mike, these Belizean Americans players born here, they are Belizeans. You can, when they go to play on your team, Milton Palacio and Kakimo went to the 1998 with the Belizean homegrown basketball players and won the 1998
Right.
CARICOM basketball games. If those players did not play on that team, Belize would have never, right, as you were saying, would have never won. So we have to stop this thing, even when we recruit us. We want to treat them differently from the, oh, they're no born here. When the Constitution says that any child born of Belizean parents, any part of the world
But
is
then,
Belizean.
but look at it right now. This season we have in Belize right now. How many players they have that are from Honduras, Mexico? How much played for Verdes, right? Guatemala played for Verdes.
Yeah.
Other teams have players from different countries. Then how come you don't want to accept the fact
Accept your own that
that, you
is
know?
born in the United States. There is some kind of bias we see there. We want to talk to the camera and say that in this roundtable discussion with these legends, because they have children and they have nephews and nieces that are athletes out here. That Belize, the National Belize Olympic Association, pay attention, Mr. Sharp, that Belizeans, students, Belizean athletes that are born of Belizean parents in the United States can be recruited and give Belize. We have the record to show. We just mentioned them. So we want to say, in the respect of these legendary ballers here that join us here with this, that the Belize, that Minister Marlon, the Minister of Sports, the new Minister of Sports, before him was Minister Ferguson, right? That we do better with our recruitment in the Belizean diaspora, amongst Belizeans, athletes born in the United States. And we have seen the record where they have joined with Belizean athletes on the ground and have helped Belize. All countries in the world are recruiting now. They believe they are
Yes, they
diaspora.
Look at
Playing for them.
Mexico,
All the countries.
Jamaica,
Yeah.
Mexico women's national team.
They have about five of
A
them.
lot of their players are born here.
Mexican American.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is what Justin Williams told me when the Guatemalan Padilla brothers went there and dominated the
Yeah.
cross country. Justin said, I know two of them, we ride internationally together.
Yeah.
You see that? Guatemala is having their athletes in the United States blowing up big and then they recruit them for their country. We don't treat them like that.
Absolutely.
You know, we have to stop that.
We gotta change that.
You see, I'm talking about Belize associations that helping the American Belizeans here, or even Belizeans. There were many times that I emailed the Belize Association with Disabilities and the sports whatever in Belize. I emailed them, I sent them, I called them to see if they wanted to sponsor me
Yes.
on the Los Angeles Marathon. Just to carry the Belize, represent
There
Belize.
you go.
Many times they never even responded to me. Even lately, every time.
But the coach, what they call it, the Special Olympics team, Victor.
Yes.
You could be someone who could coach that team
Exactly.
when they.
And every time I go to Belize, I advocate for accessibility. I went to the stadium in the national stadium in Democlan, and when I went in, I told him I have my disability placard. I put it in front of my car. I said, "Sir, we don't have parking for you guys. You need to go park around the corner." I said, "No, I want that. I will not go park over there." I said, "No." Well, I went and I parked right in the president's space. And then special handler for president of the FSB. I parked there. I said, "Oh, the cops gonna come." They call the cops.
Yeah.
The cops came and they said, "Well, it's raining. It's bad over there. The grass. You want me to push myself way over there?
Make special
Around?
accommodations.
No, I'm gonna sit here. You guys gonna find me a space to park." And then a lot of the members that are responsible for the stadium, they came over and they said, they found me a space. They let me into the gate where only the visitor team goes in. According to them, only they can go in there. I told them, "No, let me go in there. I'll park right in front." I went and I parked my car. 2 weeks later, when I came for another game, they had already an accessible parking for us.
There you go. You're aggressive, Victor. You're aggressive. You demanded your
I
right.
made news in the least for that.
There you go. See, you
Now,
have to.
now every time I go, they know me already.
No, you have to be respected.
Yeah.
You're a legendary Belizean
In
football
And
player.
it's about time for them
Yeah.
to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
In Beckett, at the stadium, Marshall Stadium, they also did the rap just
There you
for
go.
me.
Really appreciate to hear that, and that is a very important information that Victor is giving us here. That from Pissa was talking about how the legendary Belizean football players they are not respected. I have seen that with people like many of the players them that have become disability. Peru Oliveira, he went back there to Belize Hogman. They bad situation. They died down there. Nobody knows them.
Yes.
Nobody knows who they are. We have to do, Mike, you were mentioning that thing. Also, all of you have spoken about the fact that Belizean legendary athletes, whichever discipline of sports they were playing, that our country, Belize, have to recognize them anymore. Now that we have a Belizean Prime Minister, who's a legendary footballer himself, Gianni Bresegno, we would hope that we would see more of that respect for these legends of sports. And these legends of sports are also producing children and nephews and nieces that will be playing for the Belize national selections, representing their country, their parents' flags. We want to see that they are also given the respect that no, they can't get no prize because they don't know natural born Belize. They get the same prize.
I think that's the reason why. How can you tell where you came from, where you're going, if you don't know where you came from? How can you tell how good we were, right? How good we are if you don't know how good we were, right? How can you need to have people to compare it with? And we don't, in Belize, we don't have that.
And or you don't have it where you talking to a lot of the young ballers of today, fights, and Mike and Victor, they don't know anything about. There's this gap. They don't rush. They don't know anything that came before them. How can you? Because we don't have a national Hall of Fame. You go into the United States, you see Hall of Fame. These young players, they know LeBron. Yes, he might be 40-something years old, but they respect. You know, he got his son playing. You know, the United States have that where you go to Germany, any of those places.
Anyway, you go.
I was able to talk to Charlie Hyde, and he said, "Boy, Bilal, we have to get that Hall of Fame. You've been pushing on that Hall of Fame." And that's the only way. I spoke with Macaulay. this young dynamic football player. You don't know anything about Malanga,
Yeah.
Fred Martinez, Cristobal Mai. You don't know any. There's this guy. His whole father was a striker himself. They call it before him.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the father one time, and the father says, "Man, I know I was better than him. I know I was better than my son." You know, and I try to coach him, I try to school him, and we have a Orio son that is also an outstanding goalkeeper today. And Orin talks about the fact that sometimes they don't want to listen. The young spice, they don't want to hear the veterans give them advice. Talk about that different way as a wrap up to this discussion. Let's get it from you guys. What you think is the problem today with Belize? Why is Belizean football at that stage that it is right now? Has regressed rather than progressed?
I think most of it is finance.
Yeah.
You know, the money is not there, but the thing is, we need guidance, we need academies not for 70 years, but we need academies for 10, 12-year-old kids.
7-year-old.
7-year-old. That's what we need. We need to start somewhere to break this cycle. And you cannot start with the bigger ones, you gotta start down there.
In fact, you have to start what Marichan is doing with volleyball. When you go
Yeah.
there, you see that school is looking from kids and they're small.
Yeah,
that's great.
you gotta do that. And see, the thing is like with us, it's just the love of the game is what got us where we are.
Yeah, I mean, I talk
It's
about it,
nothing
say,
else,
well,
but you love the
like
game.
Diva Bala said, when we don't play, we have to get them on reach.
Yeah,
And we have it.
yeah,
On reach.
yeah.
Even back then when we used to play, we used to have to play bets. We used to have bet 5 cents, right? 5 cents we have bet. And 3 goals. So we score 3, we win. So the man get end up with 10 cents. So what we do? Take the 5 cents, go buy one ID.
Get
Have
that.
5 away or 8 away, one eat up, that's one ID, you know. Right? Because I'm biting a piece, I'm biting a
For the
share.
love of the game.
Right?
Yeah.
Then we used to get an orange. We never cut orange.
Plug.
We plug it,
Plug it
everybody
up.
up, you know.
Yeah, like plugs.
Right?
Belizeans, you hear that?
Plug this thing. No, they have the opportunity to do much better,
Yeah,
right? To do much better because when I'm getting paid. From my and I get into discussion, I look at some of these guys, I even tell my son one time, I would never pay you guys. Because you guys, from my perspective, why would I pay you guys, right? If you do something where you don't know the win, right? How can I come to you for a job and tell you I want $100 an hour when they've never seen what I'm doing for $100 an hour, right? And that's the way it happened, right? Down south, I'm disappointed when I go down south, when I'm there, right? And the thing is, like I said before, who's talking to these kids, right? People only make the money where they could make, where they get in the bucket, right? And I'm not looking at it like that. Nobody wants to rock the boat, but when I go home, I just rock the boat.
You got to be how Vic has, Vic has made his statement that you have to be aggressive and profound.
Where in Belize, we have, every district have one sports thing. Which one is sports center? I could go and say, okay, this is one FIFA 1975, this is one, nowhere I can go, you can't find that. Right? And when I go try to do that, people will think, why, you know?
I understand that the new civic auditorium when the Borough administration was in Paul, Polo was telling me I was down there doing a piece at Polo Library. He said, man, they didn't have me up here in the stadium just to build that like there. But because the Prime Minister has a problem, so we can have these kind of things, you know what I mean?
But then when the Prime Minister, this is where we have the district to do these things. Okay? We have the district to do these things. We go, the FFP, you see them right there. You walk in there, 99% of 99.99% of the walls empty. Is it where get a picture?
We should have them. So this is Belizean Legends. I'm Bilal Morris. We will take a final break. And when we come back, we will wrap up. Stay with us.
Yeah, we don't have that many.
This is Belizean Legends. I'm Bilal Morris. We will go back to wrap up with Victor. And he was giving of his perspective of why Belizean football has regressed. He spoke about the whole recruitment process that the FFP is not paying attention to talented Belizean athletes that other countries are looking at and grabbing them. Continue on that point, Vic.
Yes, and the last point that I would think that's very, very important is that let's say November was the last game for the PLB. Various became champions. November, December, January, February, nothing happened in Belize soccer. They started playing, yes, the league again, but then they have a free FIFA days. They start calling the Belize team to go play in St. Kitts, I believe, or somewhere for this week, this FIFA week. They call them like 2-3 days before just to practice. And what they do, they call the same old players. Why not call younger players? Why not bring, you know what?
New talent.
If we're going to lose, let's take this young guy.
Yes,
let's bring in
absolutely.
Let's bring him Alvarado. Let's bring in this guy from. There's a lot of talent in Belize.
Lots of talent, and natural ability, so much of them.
We need, maybe the only solution is to have a coach that knows the player. Now we cannot be bringing in coaches and FFB giving him the players. FFB going to give it because they've never played the game. They give it the same players every selection.
And other countries are doing just what you're saying. That's why they're producing the results
Absolutely.
that they're getting. But we somehow recycle that whole process again. FFP stuck into, I don't know what it is with them. If the FFP is some kind of favoritism thing, why you just choose older players and ignore your young talent. That you have to bring your young talent. Excellent point, Vic. Russ, how do you look at it?
Well, from my perspective, right, when we used to play back in the 70s, 80s, Belize was not at the bottom of the table. Nicaragua was. Nicaragua changed, they did something right, and they replaced us. And they're playing very good football, and we regress. Now, my point is, okay, do we have a plan? Okay, because you, like Vicky said, you can't keep recycling the same players. You have to bring in new talent. And what you have to do is you have to grow this talent from their young. Like Pai said, we need to have academy, and we also need to have a plan or a program that all the teams follow, so that when a coach does the recruitment, the players already know a system or several systems. You have to start from their young, okay, and build up these players and get them in tournaments. Now, to be fair, whoever's in charge of the Belize football, they're sending our teams out to play, but we can all see that they are not prepared. Okay, so it seems as if they're just trying to appease FIFA so that they keep getting the funds and they can say, hey, we're sending the teams to the tournaments, but we're not winning. And everybody is disappointed, no more than the players, because you're sending them out there to be butchered. So if I was to do a plan for Belize, I would start from young. And it's the same plan all the way up, so the system is the same. Look at these players, because you can't have a prototype player that, oh, they have to be 6 feet. No, anybody can play football. God gives them the talent and they have it, but you have to nurture it and in the right environment. Otherwise, you're going to destroy the players. And they need to have hope. If you're a soccer player in Belize right now, what is your goal? Do you want to just play in Belize, or do you want to go to play at a higher level in different countries? And you can do it. It can happen. Like Vicky said, there are players who took the opportunity, and he's in where? England?
England.
With City. And
then Portugal.
and Portugal. And it can happen to all of the players that have the ambition. When we were young, we didn't have the tools that they have. They have so many tools that they can practice. You know what? When the 97 World Cup was the first time I saw football playing at a different level. And me and this kid, man, the Vasquez from Corazal, we used to watch the World Cup game, go to the field and start trying all these moves.
Yeah.
And that's because we had TV then. Now you have YouTube, you can do whatever you want, but you need to have the ambition. And the Belize Football Federation has to prepare these kids. And also use the talent that you have in Belize to prepare these kids. You know, there's a lot of footballers that have retired doing nothing. They can teach the kids.
Yeah.
You know, if you give them a salary.
These legendary players that are walking around, they're saying, boy, I used to get sponsored and nobody wants. I used to do a little youth program with the kids them in my block. You know, I remember Ahmed was saying, man, I was coaching, but now I go to the sponsor, nobody want to.
Cesar Mendez, like that.
Another thing is the facilities. You need to have them playing on a surface that they can develop. For example, if you're a player and you're dribbling and your head is down, you're not going to see the play developing. You're not going to see the game. You won't see the defenders. So they need good fields to practice on, so they can be at the same advantage as these countries around us. Look, we're competing against all the Central American countries, okay, and the Caribbean countries. So when the World Cup comes, we have to compete against them just to get out of that region to make it. And the way we're going right now is not going to happen.
Not now, not in 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. Awesome, Russ. That's a very important point. This is Belizean Legends. I'm Bilal Morris. We are in a roundtable discussion wrap. And we just heard from Russell Hulse, who could be a possible Belizean coach for Belize's national selection. The brother brings a wealth of skills and backgrounds. A player could have been a one-time World Cup Belizean football player. We are overlooking talent, but if we hear from these people, this is the whole purpose of this roundtable, to hear, we did FFB may listen to some of these solutions that these brothers are bringing forth here, ways in which how we can improve the game. We have to listen, we have to take heed. It's like we have this attitude, Vice, that when we are in these big authorities, there are people who are sitting in these authoritative positions, didn't even play no football.
Yeah.
All they're doing is pushing paper,
I want to
controlling a budget.
Yeah.
You know.
I want to mention one more thing. Every time I travel home, I always want to see the locals play. So I remember going to Belize City. I landed, read the paper, and I heard there was a tournament in Yabra. So whenever I go to Belize, I always stay in the background. So I went to the game. I went on the side where the coaches were. They didn't know who I was, and I just listened. I was appalled by the coaching. Okay. And the thing is, when I was watching the game, I mean, these kids had talent. And you would not believe what was coming out of the coach's mouth. When you're coaching, it's always you want to be positive.
Yeah.
If they make a mistake, you try to tell them, okay, this is what you did, do this differently. But you never criticize the player, cursing at them, and trust me, that's what I was hearing from the sidelines with these young kids. The coach was cursing them out. It was just negative.
And then you have vice versa, the softball players, the girls of the 1974 Central American Caribbean game, they were in 1974. So they went to Rogers Stadium and the players are cussing out the coach.
Still happened.
You have your, he said, you think that would ever happen with Colin Gill or Lashley? That's why they were at the level that they were gold medalists.
Yeah.
You know, in softball and in football and in all sports. Orio,
Yes, sir.
we last but not least,
The best.
and I know you have a lot to say. I went down there and shake up the FFP, right? And tell us about your position on this
But
whole.
I think we need to go back to the way it used to be. Yes, I understand you have your academies and whatnot. One of our academies we had was primary school.
Yes.
Yep.
Right? That's what we had. Do we have the same passion? When I used to go to Methodist, it was a passion when I played for Methodist. I don't like to lose. But if you lose, they tease you. Right? So that passion was there. Basics is a thing that we are lack of. We don't have the basics. And I notice it all the time. Like I say, like you guys say, the older people will look like them and curse them out. Some of these people know they curse them out, right? They tell them they're bad, they're good. No. Right? Just be realistic. And if we look at it where we were then in the 60s, 70s, to where we are now, like we say, we're further behind. Much further behind. Where the passion, even though they getting paid, some of these guys getting money, right? They're not performing. Yes, I understand we need the money to do certain things, but they also take the players, right? Nobody never used to pay me $15 million a thing. I want to better. Nobody used to pay me for these things, right? I mean, love the game. Not these people, they love the money more than the game. See? And if they have, go back to it, if they have it the way it used to be, and when I say go back, because we have to have something to compare it to, or to compare it with. We had more sponsors back then than we have now. And these sponsors used to put their money into it. But for some reason, from the time you hear about the FFB, all hell broke loose. Barely any sponsors anymore. Right? Want to actually.
So is that the problem? The sponsors don't really like the federation?
Well, I don't know if they don't like them, but then we don't have much anymore. Right? Back then we used to have, Belize used to have, for example, 5 teams or 6 teams, 16 teams. Each of these teams had a sponsor. No, Belize, I don't know how much team they have now. Where the sponsor? Where the sponsor?
It has gone down.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Krieger used to have sponsors, right? We had a guy named Bob Shell used to sponsor. Eugene Devani used to sponsor. The Pomona people used to sponsor. Right? Citrus used to sponsor. Right? All these people used to sponsor teams. Are these people doing it anymore? No. No, we have the FFB. For some reason, right? We don't know where what the job of the FFB is supposed to be. But that's why we're not getting, that's one of the reason why we're not getting more help. We have all these lines that travel to Belize. You only tell me you can get some kind of help, we have the government, but everybody wants to do their own thing, and we're separating ourselves.
The National Sports Council.
So we have that.
I believe right now, if we don't have academies, we need to go back to the primary school space. However, I think each primary school need to be given a professional coach. That they teach basics football to all the children.
Yes, I understand that's funny.
And the Cubans were doing that.
We need to have that.
I went to Marion Jones Stadium there and I was watching, my brother took me to see some workout with the youngsters there. And those Cuban coaches were putting in some serious work.
Well,
they were professional coaches.
I think that is
and that is going to disappear soon because Belize is getting ready to send the Cubans back. Right?
The only school that we used to do that right now with different coaches is the Catholic school. Right? They have a tournament every year. Right? Yeah. Every year. And they have their own coaches.
Well, I think just like how they did recently with all kids go to school for free in high school or whatever in Belize, they need to have that primary school sports. Since we don't have academies for any sport.
Yeah. But Mike, they need the academy thing, what Dexter is saying and you were saying, I went to see Marichan the volleyball. Volleyball is at a high level now because of one lady.
Yeah.
And she was a baller in her days.
Yeah.
And when my brother took me to see that, I was like, whoa, this is why volleyball is at the level. I was able to follow two young Belizean American football players, a guy named Vern. He had twin sons. What's the name of there's a top football team, Russ, that is in America, Mexican football team. What was their name? They played in the
You talking about Chivas?
Chivas owner.
Uh-huh.
I was in Torrance with Vern and his two sons, and they have an academy, right? And you see, Marichan was exactly like that. So the academy, we may not want to say go back to the primary school, but set up the academies. She is doing it. And when I saw what the owner of Chivas was doing, the young little ones, it's a whole big.
Absolutely.
And you have them little goals, you know, the little goals then from the little kids all over here. And not only that, but he invested into a soccer high school. So Vern's sons, they went from playing elementary school, middle school, and went into that high school. Two Belizean Americans, this is a great prospect for Belize's national team. Now they're in college playing college ball, but they went through that academy. And they were good, and I followed them from their elementary school all the way up to there. And that academy thing works.
Absolutely. It's a question.
But that's what Marichan is doing.
It works out. It works in volleyball. It works there.
Marichan said, "Oh, that she wasn't going to let the sporting council interfere with her."
See, that's what I say.
Kept them
But you see, but you have to. In a sense, it works there. But then I say we have to change the mentality of our people, right? The mentality we have. First of all, we think that we know it all, right? We don't need no help.
Yeah.
Especially, and I talk about volleyball, I talk about football, right? The mentality. You feel like, okay, you get out there, they see the Messi, they see the Ronaldinho, but do they see behind
The work.
the work that they did to get there?
Absolutely. The discipline it takes.
Like the discipline it takes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, why I say that academy, we had, I think, from my observation, Kayo and Pablo Belopan have an academy, as far as I know, as far as I can see, right? But the different districts, as far as I know, we don't have that.
Well, that's where the government should step in and at least put an academy in each district.
No, but the academy coming,
Private?
The one in Benopan, private.
Yeah. Well, this is what I'm saying. If they cannot afford to do private academies, this is where the government needs to step in.
But you have to remember
And do it through
that
the school, private school.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
It was done before.
Yeah, do it.
So why
through
can't you
private
do
school.
it again?
No, you can do the private. Do the whoever want to do the private, the academy, that's okay. But still, the government need to get to the primary school.
Exactly.
Get in primary school because
the only
they help.
the only thing that the government can get to into primary school, but the government cannot get into academies. Academies are registered with FIFA.
FIFA, yeah.
FIFA will not let you, and I will not allow any government
To run.
get in.
Right.
Get in.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what
but
I'm
they
saying.
can do it without getting.
They go provide
Yeah.
facilities.
Yeah, they provide
Yeah.
everything.
Provide the fields.
Provide
Build
everything.
fields all over the country.
Yes.
They got enough space.
Exactly.
They have enough space.
Fields is what they need.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We're gonna work
I
on
mean,
fields.
Quality fields.
Not
They
only
need
kick some
to-
balls.
With
You-
pitch, a good pitch there, you know.
Look at the women's soccer over here, right? At one point, the U.S. used to dominate because they had a system. They had the club teams, then they had the college, right? And they recruited those players. The rest of the world, they were taking
Way
care of
ahead.
it, but now they have caught up. Why? Because the professional teams in Europe,
Sponsors.
and in Mexico, they see that there's money to be made with these women. So they started to have their own teams
Yeah.
with their own special coaches, and now
Yeah.
they're
Parity.
giving there's a
There's
parity.
parity.
Yeah,
There's
there's parity. You know, when you watch the Women World Cup, I mean, it's like you watching guys playing,
Yeah.
girls playing, because the quality is so
Yeah, the quality is so high.
It's Awesome.
But now there's parity because of what you just
Yeah,
mentioned.
remember when it started, the U.S. is going to play any other team 5-0.
Yes, they killed them.
Now they cannot do it.
No,
Yeah.
not
Now
anymore.
teams come with different perspectives.
Yeah, well, it's not that. It's because of the parity. They
Yeah.
got their own leagues now.
Their own leagues.
Everybody got their own leagues.
Okay,
Every country.
Yeah.
we say that people look at it where well, Belize, they're a small country, I can understand that. But the amount of years it plays, especially for the men, we play football. We're not go forward.
No.
There's no excuse for that.
No, and
no
it was
excuse.
better.
It's
Like I said,
like-
it was better. We had better players, a better season without the FFP. The FFP is supposed to come in and make it things much even better. Now you have players who go in different countries.
Well, what has gone wrong?
Huh?
Yeah, because simple thing like this. You have a national, Marion Jones Stadium was formerly National Stadium. I remember when they built that whole thing to, the football field supposed to be the center of the track. And so my brother's giving me a tour of it to do a story on it. Brand new synthetic track. But he said, look at the football field. FIFA came and failed the field. That's one problem again. How you gonna have football fields FIFA come and fail the field because the field can't host no international competition. So Belize is losing out on things like CONCACAF where those games could be held there, right? We don't have the facilities, we don't have the infrastructure. Why is it that, but in you guys' days, we don't have less, but we did better. Now we have more, they have more today, but we are getting less. There is this regression in all aspects. But why you have the Olympic Association? There is a brand new synthetic track. They came and failed that track.
Look at
You see what I'm saying, right?
Look at that.
Something is wrong there. Why is it that the international bodies are coming to Belize and failing their stadiums?
They could never play an international game at the Marion Jones soccer field. You see that thing when it rains? No drainage. That field. Oh.
I have a member of the FFB, but like how big is the colony? That said, that told me, Vicky, the more the Belize national team loses, the more money people give them.
Look at that.
And where's the money going?
The pockets. And we have on the last final point I'd like to make in wrapping up this discussion, corruption is at the rampant heart of these federations. And we're not calling no names, but we are saying one of the main reasons why Belizean sports on a whole has regressed rather than progressed from the days of the 60s, 70s, and 80s because of rampant corruption in government. And we're going to blatantly say that. And with that, we are going to end this roundtable discussion. We're going to call it a wrap. I am Bilal Morris, this is Belizean Legends, and we have been listening to a roundtable discussion with legendary Belizean footballers from the team, the Los Angeles-based Belizean football team Rookies. And all of these brothers were able to play on that team, but they also came from legendary Belizean football teams, and they brought their talents to the United States, and they did great. We look in the background of them, we see the proof is in the pudding. This is the result, and we would like to point that out to our audience that this is the result of Rookies, and we want to thank them for giving us the privilege of coming into the home of Mike, the manager of Rookies, of accommodating us, and for you brothers to come today to sit in this round table and share with the Belizean audience and the Belizean government your great stories about Belizean football and how could our football become better today and come back to the days when we were great. Thanks again for watching. I'm Bilal Morris. This is Belizean Legends and I'm Bilal Morris. We want to thank you for watching this very in-depth roundtable discussion with the legendary Belizean football team called Rookies. These are Belizean legendary football players who came from various legendary Belizean football teams in the Belize itself. And so we want to again say to you, thank you for watching.
Pasa, diga, ira, yeah.